Hey, Salvador Brickman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And today we're talking about the length of your video for Indiegogo, for your Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. What should the length of that video be? This is obviously a bit of a difficult question. Hi, my name is Salvador Brickman. It's difficult because there's so many different categories and types of products out there, and also video production plays a role in this kind of process. So for example, if you have a really well-produced video, it's really designed to maintain attention for a longer period of time. If you watch like a commercial or television, right, and there's a lot of different angles, lots of different cuts and music overlays and transitions and all these things, it's easier for your brain to pay attention to that video when it's longer versus a video that's just kind of like more of a talking head style video. There's not really that much change. It's usually a little bit harder for you as a random stranger online who stumbles on that video to pay attention to that unless there's something really important and valuable that you're going to discover from watching that video. So the first thing I would say is you want it to be short enough that there are no boring parts in the video. Typically, longer videos, while people are very enthusiastic about creating them and really excited about the business or the project that they're doing, they tend to have lots of lulls where they really should be cut out. And there tend to be some moments where like towards the end, it's just like the attention is waning, you know? So I usually say to always push for a shorter video than you think, because you're probably gonna end up going a little bit over that. But also if you have a long video, it typically is gonna benefit from cutting it down to a certain degree. So shorter videos usually are winning on Indiegogo and Kickstarter as opposed to longer videos. Now, it's not always the case. You will always find counterexamples to this where someone has an 8-minute long video or 10-minute long video and they've raised thousands of dollars, right? But that typically also is correlated when the actual person already has an audience of some kind, and thus the audience knows this is going to be good, or there's an emotional investment in that process, and they're willing to watch a little bit of a longer video, or maybe put up with some a little bit of boring parts. So first is make sure that it is short. In terms of the time length, I would say that once you're getting past the 5-minute mark, first of all, that is way too long. Someone's attention is not going to pay attention, is not going to maintain for that length of time. Sort of the sweet spot, I would say, is around 3 minutes. 3 to 3.5 minutes is a really good amount. 4 minutes, you're just kind of getting on the cusp there. When it's more like 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, it might not be long enough, quite frankly. It's going to depend, though, on the type of product you're selling and also the point, the sales point, the price point of that product. If it's a really high-priced product, you're going to need a little bit of a longer video to explain it. I would say that when it comes to like sales copy and also sometimes videos to a degree, the length of the sales copy usually correlates with how pricey the product is. So if it's something that's a very quick, like, you know, $20 buy, that video is going to look a little bit different than a video that's like a $300 buy, right? Just in terms of production quality, in terms of all the effort that goes into making it, etc. So if you're looking for just a quick takeaway, I'd say 3 minutes is probably a good time to shoot for. 2.5, I would say, is kind of like the earliest or the shortest that you should go. And longest, I would say, is 4 minutes when it comes to an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. But again, you will find examples on both of the ends of the spectrum. One of the things that you kind of fall into with having too short of a video, I see, is that it's almost a little bit too commercial, right? Commercials are 30 seconds long. You watch on TV, right? 30 seconds to a minute long. The problem, though, is that crowdfunding is not a commercial. You're not buying a product in a traditional way because you're not going to be able to get this the next day in the way that you would if you're buying a product from Amazon, you're an Amazon Prime member. So it's a little bit different in that way. You're also having to build some trust and do some storytelling. It's almost like a combination of a commercial and a pitch. And I kind of think of it actually more of like an Apple commercial, how Apple will go into like the design of the product and the manufacturing and how beautiful it is, the story even behind some of their products, or maybe some of their older products. I think their marketing's kind of gone downhill recently a little bit more, honestly. But that should give you just a very short takeaway. Now, some of the other things that you should be keeping in mind for your video for Indiegogo is making sure that you're showing people using the product. If you can show people who are like the end consumer using the product in the various different types of environments, if you can show people enjoying using it and have different use cases also likely, that's what's gonna get people's attention. So our eye is naturally gravitated to a few different things. One is seeing other people. When we see other people in a commercial or in a video or in a thumbnail, your eye is naturally going to start paying attention to that more than if it was just something, a physical product, unless it's like very beautifully designed, right? And we see that like in YouTube thumbnails, for example. That's a very easy case. The other thing the eye is naturally going to pay attention to is when a frame is always changing. So that's not like this video that I'm making right now, but if you're doing a commercial, the frame is changing a lot. Like there's a lot of changes in the angles, a lot of changes in colors, a lot of changes in the cuts, jump cuts, etc. Because of all the rapid changes, the eye has to pay attention, because your brain is saying you don't want to miss out on something, right? It's just hardwired in our biology. And finally, the eye is going to be much more gravitated towards promises. So like, what is this thing going to do for me? That's the first question that everyone has when they watch a video is, what is this going to do for me? What am I going to get out of this? What can this do? What are the benefits? What's the big promise? And then they'll start to look more into the features and the functionality as they go down the page. But the other major thing with the video, which can be included or cannot, is a micro story. And that micro story kind of goes a little bit deeper than just the benefits and the promise that you have. That could include you, that could include the mission of the company, what you're trying to do. All great companies that kind of hit it really big tend to either have some kind of a vision for what they're trying to do or some kind of values or story built into their marketing. And that's kind of what like cements, if you will, their community together. And people saying like, oh yeah, I'm an Apple lover, or I'm someone who really buys into this tribe, or I really follow this particular marketer or this person. It's all about storytelling, using that to connect and to form a community, and people will begin to self-identify. They're saying like, I am one of those people, or yes, that's totally me, right? I need this. I need to send this to my friend. That's when you start to get that kind of conversation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Go and check out some of the links in the description for further education and teachings when it comes to crowdfunding. My name is Salvador, and I'll see you next time.